It's time for the Left of Lansing Friday Short with Pat Johnston.
Here's the Friday Short for August 8th of 2025. A recent Morning Consult poll shows what we all know to be true. Americans are realizing the gross mistake they made by putting dear leader Trump and his corporate authoritarian oligarchs back into the White House. Now, it's sad that a majority of Americans needed to learn this lesson the hard way again, but, well, here we are. According to that poll, 6 out of 10 Americans blame the Trump regime for the rising cost of living. Some 63% blame the regime for higher grocery prices. Nearly half of the country says the regime is hurting their personal finances, and 80% of Americans are afraid the regime's insane tariff scheme will lead to higher prices. Well, dear leader's tariffs are already hitting Michigan in a myriad of ways. We learned last month how auto supplier Detroit Axle slashed over 100 jobs and closed its Ferndale warehouse. The company's CEO cited supply chain disruptions caused by dear leader's insane tariffs as to why they had to make such drastic moves. Now, he placed a 25% tariff on all imported vehicle and vehicle parts, and there's no rhyme or reason behind such a move, but that's what this tariff insanity is all about. It makes them feel powerful, it makes them feel in charge, and it leaves the American people and the American economy hanging by a thread, which is being held by a guy who lost casinos and who palled around with an interesting group of people like child sex trafficker Jeffrey Epstein. Now that sounds insane, what I just said, but that's who's got our economy in the palm of his hand. Now, of course, Congress could take control of this madness. The MAGA congressional Republicans, especially Michigan Republicans like Lisa McClain and John James, would rather be his loyal subject than be loyal to their constituents. Meanwhile, it's being predicted that dear leader's tariffs will lead to a nearly 5% jump in factory costs. Dear leader also put a 15% tariff on Japanese cars, but before you so-called America First MAGA listeners shout hip hip hooray for dear leader, that tariff on Japan put domestic automakers at a disadvantage thanks to higher tariffs on foreign-made auto parts. Well done indeed. And because of the regime's tariffs and attacks on Canada, the number of Canadian tourists visiting Michigan is dropping fast and thereby hurting our state's economy even more. Oh, and yes, insane across the board, tariffs are a regressive tax against the American consumer. But the cultish MAGA Republican Party refuses to dare to stop their demented dear leader. Not only are they helping him cover up his relationship with the late child sex trafficker Jeffrey Epstein, they're also providing cover for his tariff tax on the working class. Florida Mike Rogers, who's running once again for yet another Michigan U.S. Senate seat, praised and bowed to his dear leader like a little bitch that he is, proclaiming that dear leader's tariffs are so good for Michigan and all of America. I mean, these people like Florida Mike Rogers, Lisa McClain, John James, they are just pathetic. And the worst part about it, they seem just fine being pathetic as long as they get the kiss dear leader's ring and as long as they get his endorsement. By the way, another reason these tariffs are happening is to fix our trade imbalance, so the regime says. But the Associated Press noted this week companies avoided taxes by importing goods before tariffs took place, leading to a 38% increase in our trade imbalance. Well done indeed again. Whether it's these tariffs, the MAGA murder budget, or the actions by Elon Musk earlier this year, working-class Americans are paying a heavy price in more ways than one. And we wonder why MAGA Republicans are refusing town halls and are blatantly cheating through gerrymandering to keep their power in Congress. Their policies are unpopular. Now, more than ever, is when we need true Democratic leaders to fight against this kind of fascism. leftoflansing@gmail.com is the best way to reach me. Follow me on Blue Sky, Facebook, The Gram, and Twitter. Subscribe to the show on YouTube and subscribe and give a good 5-star review of Michigan's premier progressive podcast. Go Tigers and take the battle to them.